Hey everybody, it's Craig again with another HeavyGearGuy battle report episode. But first today we're going to show you our fairly local game store. That's a little bit of shot of the sky. It is Bookery Games in Fairborn, Ohio. And we're just going to walk in here because you guys have all seen our tables and heard stuff. And go ahead, Josh, get that door. But it doesn't really say much. Really nice little store. We always talk about we're in the basement, so we're going to explain that a little bit here. You just walk in, and you come on down here. They call it the War Room, and you can see the main room of the gaming area with all of its tables. Lots of terrain and stuff there. They're setting up for a tournament here tomorrow, which will be Saturday. I think it's for Josh and I. That's going to be our board to fight on. Scan all the way down there. Plenty of room to play. And it gets pretty crowded, which is why we come back here. This is the room you normally see us playing on with the felt-covered table. But that's the new table. And then occasionally you see us back in the dark storeroom. That's what this is. We've even got tables back here for when it gets crowded enough. So, a little bit of a tour there. We'll come on back out here to our game. Okay, just a little bit of show around, and back to the episode. Okay, so let's take a look at our forces here. Again, these are 600 point forces. We're trying out a couple more just fun to play lists and using the point values for an upcoming tournament. My list is Port Arthur Corps. It is a prior level 4 elite force. Its required unit to take was a rapid response and reconnaissance squad, which are these little HC-3 hover command cars with the Army commanding hover personnel carrier. It's a command carrier, so it has a satellite uplink and some ECM capabilities, electronic warfare, which the recon cars have as well as they've got a sniper laser cannon. Nice long-range laser, low damage value though, but we're going to try to put to use. They're very fast. Those two guys are very fast. Fastest one I've got. They are backed up by a standard light hover tank squad with a LHT-71 and 67s. The two 67 hovercraft have heavy Gatling laser cannons, while the 71 has a light particle accelerator. I fully intend to try out, this is for me to try out the new hover and top speed and jumping rules. Is what I'm going for here. Well, over on the other side, Josh has brought 600 points of Southern Republicans. Let's get over there. Alright, this is, it's known as the Ballista, but in the game it is the Hun light tank that replaces all of its weapons for a very light rocket pod, a rate of 6 very light rocket pod, which can be pretty effective. I know it is carrying a recon drone. And then we have a fire dragon. And that is a Visigoth. Josh, what is it that we've got here on the list here?
We have Visigoth Khan, Army Commander. His purpose is to be a big nasty tank and to fill Army Commander roles, ECMing when necessary.
Cool.
Then we have a Fire Dragon. His job is to run into things and murder stuff.
Alright.
Then the Ballista Hun. Its job is to recon, spot for the other two, and if things get too close, unleash bottle rocket hell.
Yeah, Josh calls the very light rocket pods bottle rockets. I can understand why.
Yeah, I never had too much luck with that Sagittarius.
And there's the dragon. And the Visigoth. Alright, we're going to get set up. Okay, before we set up, we're going to go over our missions. We're doing not a standard mission, not a straight-up brawl. We've both placed a stonehead in the no man's land before the game begins, and we're going to play siege missions. Whoever controls both stoneheads or the most stoneheads at the end of the game is going to win this one. Little non-standard, but a little bit more complex than just a straight-up fist fight. I've been doing a lot of those lately, so we decided that we try a little bit more depth there. Okay, so now we're going to get set up, and we'll meet you for turn 1. Okay, so here we are on setup. The South has deployed their tanks along my left flank, next to the water, both at top speed there. The Dragon has set up on my right flank, behind some rocks, and very close to one of our objectives. That's the one that Josh got to place. Over here, on the pack side, we have a pair of light hover tanks behind a building, getting ready to scoot in. One of the recon hover cars and the hover command car behind a very large piece of terrain. Then we've got the third hover tank and the second scout car over on my left flank, getting ready to move up and seize that objective. Now we're going to roll for initiative. We both have 2 combat groups, and we both have leadership value 3, so it's going to be a straight up roll. I got a 3.
I got a 6.
It's a 6. Alright. So do you want to act first, or you want me to act first?
I'll let you act first.
Acting first. Alright, here we go.
Change the dime.
Okay. So right now we have this light hover tank is actually in the middle of a jump. He's just over top of the building there. The Fire Dragon spent a command point to activate out of sequence and fired its heavy rocket pods into the underside of the light hover tank. Josh's attack roll is a natural 7, with range and accuracy and target computer all involved. He actually ends up with an 8. So I have to defend versus an 8. With my defense, I've got a 3 dice defense, and I'm a +1. With a weak underside of light hover tank, this is looking pretty bad. I ended up with a 7, but because I'm weak underside, that actually, I've got a 7, but he gets +2 since he scored a success. So he actually, in his margin of success 1 becomes a margin of success 3, and just did 60 points of damage to the light hover tank, which is enough. Where's my armor? My armor's 24. Overkill value of 96. He just did 3 boxes to that light hover tank, which is going to put him at critical on that. So, nice shot. That hurt.
Oh, can you drop down?
Alright. Josh is pretty happy right here. For the first time ever for his personal experience, the Fire Dragon also mounts a snub cannon on its nose there. It fired the snub cannon at the critically wounded, all but dead, Dregs of the Universe, a paper fly could have killed it, light hover tank, smacked it into the bottom, rolled another 6, I rolled junk, and with my -2 modifiers, I ended up with a 1 versus his 8, and the light hover tank was obliterated by the snub cannon round. So, good shot. Okay, this is the end of turn 1. We saw the tanks make a move up onto the closest stonehead to me. One of my command cars has that currently contested. I think he might be up for grabs there, but that's a Visigoth, so I'm going to have some troubles. The Hun spun around so it could move around the cover, do a sneaky little flank maneuver there. Exposed his back, which is what this light hover tank jumped up on top of the building to take advantage of, but we saw him get obliterated by the Fire Dragon snub cannon. What you didn't see after that was that first, the second LHT-67 jumped over the Fire Dragon with its jump jets, landed behind him, put 2 heavy Gatling lasers into its back, and got it to knocked off a sturdy box on that. But then the combat group leader of the hover tanks sped forward, not using his jump jets, just sped forward at top speed with his light particle accelerator, managed to put 2 boxes plus an extra box due to haywire onto the Fire Dragon. So the Fire Dragon is currently at critical, and it's not looking good for him. So things are happening pretty fast here. We're going to move on to turn 2. Alright, the Southern Republican commander, aka Josh, has decided that since the Fire Dragon they stole from the militia is about to die, it's going to go with a blaze of glory. So he has stopped, and he is targeting my combat group leading light hover tank with its snub cannon. He's +2 on his attack roll because he stopped, +1 because my tank is in the open for a total of +3, but he's critically damaged for -2, and the snub gun is inaccurate for -1, so he's got a straight up modifier. He is, however, throwing 2 of his extra actions, all of his actions, into this shot for 2 extra dice for this shot. So he's going to throw 5 dice straight up. Alright, 5 dice straight up. Throw them.
All hail the SRX.
What do we get? Oh, there's a 6. So
There's
he's
6.
got a 6, and that's it? Yeah, that's it. Alright, so that is a 6. My tank has 3 dice to defend. He's moving at top speed, which gives him a +1. So it's 3 dice +1 versus that 6. There's a 7. He's just fine.
That's a perfect opportunity.
Okay, this was a bit surprising. The Visigoth rolled forward and heavy field gun and light laser cannon the little car there. I didn't expect it to succeed, but he got stunned, and then some really horrid rolling with my 2 dice defense. He got overkilled by the light laser cannon off the Visigoth. So he's trying to make up a little bit of stuff for all the damage I did to his Fire Dragon. That's a start. I just have to dig that Visigoth out of there. Alright, here we are at the end of turn 2. We saw the Visigoth overkill the recon car with a light laser cannon. And then we saw the Fire Dragon attempt to make a last stand. He ended up being killed, not overkilled, by the combat group leader's light particle accelerator. But then way over here on the flank, we had a top speed light hover tank get behind the ballista Hun. The ballista threw its very light rocket pack at the light hover tank, who rolled very poorly on his defense and would have taken a lot of damage, but I spent a command point and got out of that. In return, the heavy Gatling laser cannon brought the Hun to heavy damage. So we've got the Visigoth, which, what we didn't see over here was the Visigoth got shot at by a jumping hover car in the back and lost his sturdy box. So the Visigoth is slightly scratched, the Hun is heavily damaged, and the pack have lost a light hover tank and a hover car. So I wouldn't say it's quite matched up right now, because the Visigoth's going to be alone real fast. And we're moving on to turn 3. Okay, this is the end of turn 4, and it's getting really close to being the end. The new hover, jump jet, and top speed rules are really showing their value to the hover tanks. They are literally flying all over the place at top speed. There's my combat group leader way back there. They've circled the entire board at this point. As we can see, the Fire Dragon is dead, which it already was, but one of my recon cars has nestled himself. He used a jump jet to jump over there, and his last turn to snug in there and control that stonehead. But over here, the Hun, while the Visigoth was behind the rock, the Hun forward observed this light hover tank here. The Visigoth fired a heavy heavy field gun round and knocked off his sturdy box, but the forward observation was reacted to by the light hover tank, and he finished off the Hun. Then the Visigoths came around and fired his light laser cannon at the tank in a desperate hope to kill the tank. It was a decent shot, but I was able to tie the attack roll, which meant no damage. Pretty lucky on my part, because he would have, had he finished off that tank, things would be a lot different. But then, my combat group leading light hover tank chose the Visigoth as priority target and fired his light particle accelerator. Once again, the light particle accelerator got a haywire effect and did a box of damage. It actually did no damage itself, but the haywire did the damage. And then the light hover tank sped forward, jumped over the Visigoth, who had spent a command point during its attacks, so it couldn't react to that, and then used his own command point to fire his heavy Gatling laser into the Visigoth's back, which brought him to critical. So this is going to be over here pretty quick. Right now the Visigoth is outside of the control zone of the Stonehead, where I'm in it. But we're going to go on to turn 4 and see what happens, because we actually want to finish this game, actually finishing it. So here we go, on to turn 4. Okay, is the Visigoth done?
The Visigoth is done.
The Visigoth is done. Okay. Alright, so we're going to activate the light hover tank squad. Yeah, he's going to just go to regular speed, and then he is going to get a command point, and he's going to shoot that again. So we're 3 dice, but we're +2 now because I'm not at top speed.
Crossfire.
I can't get crossfire with the light particle accelerator. It doesn't do enough damage. Alright, so 3 dice +2. So it's a 5 this time, and he's still -6 to his defense. He ends up with a 7. It becomes a 1. So that is, I beat him by 4. So that is 40 minutes. That is 64 points of damage, doing the last box and killing the Visigoth. Wow. That was the wow. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of turn 4 with that last roll there. The Visigoth has just died due to an amazing defense roll the first time there, which wipes the South out. The Port Arthur Corps is firmly in control of both Stoneheads, so it is a total Port Arthur Corps victory. They had lost only a recon car and a light hover tank. Fast and brutal, bloody, and yeah, this tournament's going to be interesting. Alright, good game, sir.
Fantastic game.
Alright. Once again, I'm Craig. That's Josh. This is Heavy Gear, and we'll catch you in the next episode.